Hello and welcome. Bienvenidos. My name is Diana Levo Posner, and I am the Associate Director, Principal Librarian for the Exploration and Creativity Department of the Los Angeles Public Library. And I'm joined today by my colleague and dear friend, Graciela Gallegos, from the Librarian 3 from the Children's Services Department.
Hello, it is our pleasure to welcome you today to Your Author series featuring Mirelle Ortega as we discuss her book, Magic, Once Upon a Faraway Land. Mirelle Ortega is an author and illustrator from Veracruz, Mexico. You'll notice that influence in her art. She is currently living in LA. She's the author and illustrator of River of Mariposas and Magic, Once Upon a Faraway Land, for which she received the 2023 Pura Belpré Award Illustration Honor and an International Latino Book Award Bronze Medal. That book is also available in Spanish, which I love. She's a prolific children's books illustrator, creating covers for best-selling middle grade series, such as From the Desk of Zoe Washington, artwork for acclaimed chapter book series such as The Mythics, Vote for Effie, and Mermaid's Rock, and vibrant illustrations for picture books like Pepe and the Parade, The Mermaid Princesses, Mamiachi and Me, and I Am Yo Soy. Mirelle will be a featured author illustrator at the upcoming Los Angeles Libros Festival on Saturday, so next week, September 13th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Central Library in downtown LA. We want to thank our generous donors, the Lenore S and Bernard A. Greenberg Fund, as well as the Library Foundation, and our amazing behind-the-scenes staff for helping the library bring these author and illustrator programs to you. Thank you all so very much.
We would also like to recognize and acknowledge the first people of this land. We recognize and acknowledge their elders, past and present, as well as their descendants. And for more information on which territory you might reside, and check out native-land.ca, and it's right down there if you want to go check that out later.
And now, on to today's Your Author program, and let's welcome Mirelle Ortega.
Woo!
Yay. Welcome, Mirelle.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Okay.
It's really such an honor to be doing this with you guys.
We're very excited. Yes.
And we're so excited to see you at Libros Saturday, September 13th.
Yes, I love collaborating with you guys. It's always so much fun, and I'm really excited about being at the festival this year too. I think I'm going to be in the draw-off, which is very scary for me and really fun for everyone else.
And if anyone doesn't know what the draw-off is, we have 3 illustrators on stage at the Mark Tabor Auditorium. And then people will throw out ideas like a elephant eating a pizza, reading a book, go. And then they just have to start drawing. And it's hilarious, fun, amazing. So we hope you'll come and check that out. And I'll look to see what time that is. And we can put that in the chat for people on September 13th. It's in the auditorium. It starts at 11, that part of it.
Yeah, it's really funny.
You'll be fine because you're so creative.
Thank you. Thank you. But sometimes it's kind of crazy. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I'm excited to be here and be talking about Magic, which is my debut as an author and a really special book for me because it talks so much about like my upbringing and my family life, I guess.
And I was honored to be on the Pura Belpré when Mirelle won. So I know right now I should have reminded all of my fellow committee people, like, join in. I'll have to see the YouTube link later. But yeah, it was, her work is amazing. So proud that you won the Pura Belpré honor.
Oh,
yes. Wonderful.
And I believe you had some pictures to share with us. Let's see.
Yes. I'm going to share. Oh, it's there. So I want to read some of the book, and then we can do questions. I think that's how it's going to go. So I'm going to read some of the book, and I'll explain some things too. So Magic. Let me tell you about the place that I'm from, a faraway land brimming with magia, powerful magic that twists and turns and touches everything around you. So this is the first page of the book, and I really wanted to talk about why I decided to start the book with those words. Let me tell you about the place that I'm from. I think when I was trying to write magic, I really didn't know where to start because I knew I really wanted to do a book about my home and my family, and I didn't know where to approach it. So I kind of just imagined, like, how would I tell this to my younger self? Like, how would I explain to my 6-year-old self, like, everything that's happened? And that's kind of how I approached it and why I decided to start it that way. And I actually wrote it in my journal, and I have it right here. This is the first draft of Magic. And it really isn't that far off from what it ended up being, which is crazy because I'm not usually a writer that can like just put pen to paper and get a book like finished right away. So it was very, very special. It's very different from other things that I'd written. And I was a little hesitant to send it out, but I was like, I really love it, so might as well show it to other people. And carry on. It's a play where rain kisses the earth and wild things flourish, and people turn wilderness into harvest. A place where my abuelo turned dirt into a sea of golden pineapples glimmering under the warm Mexican sun. And here we see the abuelo with your narrator and her little brother and the sea of pineapples. And this is a picture of my real life abuelo with his pineapples. He has pineapple crops and still a family business that we have. My family still lives in Veracruz and still has pineapples. And that's a more recent picture. It's still done pretty much all by hand, which I think is pretty amazing and pretty beneficial to the community. And there's a picture of my abuelo and my abuela dancing, which I thought was really cute. And my abuelita taught me to string words together to make up stories, where my mama and tia wove single threads of wool into the most beautifully intricate blankets. And here, in regards to text and images, I thought it was interesting what I was trying to do, put those two ideas together of my grandma teaching me to tell stories and kind of like weave them, and of my mom and my grandma and my aunt and the beautiful work that they create when they do crochet, and they do amazing things, and so colorful and so beautiful. And I also someone asked if the choice of words and the describing the blankets, and I did want it to be very difficult because it's intricate. I wanted to kind of resonate with that and share some pictures of my grandma and mom and me. And that's a blanket that my mom actually made for me that I have right here with me. It's way too hot right now to put on. But I love it when it gets colder. I love it. It really makes me so happy because it's so colorful and beautiful. And it just makes me think of home. And it's something that is also throughout the book. The blanket is also heavily featured in the end papers of the book, which people really like and I really like. And it was really hard. So I'm happy that you guys like them. And my papa transformed sketches into stone buildings, bricked into solid walls, and the seer narrator, the little brother, and the dad. My dad is an architect in real life too. In my faraway land, I saw tiny seeds grow into shady trees where beneath I sat and played on hot summer days. There's a little typo. And this is a picture that I really, really like. It brings so many memories of my childhood. Those are all people that I actually know in real life. And this tree is so special to me. It's in the backyard of my grandparents' house. And it's, I think, the most beautiful tree in the world. Oh. This is what it looks like now. It's just beautiful, perfect. I love big trees. I'm a big fan. I wish everyone would let trees grow wild. Yeah. There's some pictures of my friends growing up too.
Which one are you in the picture? With all the little kids?
At the top, I'm the one in like the lime green dress, which is close to yellow. And in the one at the bottom, I'm the one sitting on the corner, the one that's not blonde.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
The tree's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I grew up in a place that it's there's a lot of Italian influence, so there's a lot of Italian Mexicans. So there's a lot of blonde. I have a lot of blonde friends and stuff, and I've always been praised of how well how good I am at capturing diversity, and I'm like, well, that's just where
That's
I
what
grew
you
up.
know.
Yeah, that's just what I know.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and then we go to a little bit of a sadder page. This is I also saw little bugs become plagues and pleasant rains turn into tropical storms, and my favorite trees turn into lonely stumps. This really reminds me of a time when they had to cut a tree in my house, and I was devastated. And so really, to this day, I remember that I was so sad over that. Um, as an artist, you're trying to portray mood with a lot of color. So this page is very desaturated, very heavy into the blues and like grays of it all. Um, and then I'm gonna skip some pages. This is not the whole book. Again, if you want to read the whole book, you can get it at your library. You can buy it. There's nothing like having a real like book in your hands. It's so special. Also, the paper of this book is so beautiful. Honestly, I'm a big paper fan. But yeah, um, then things happen in the narrator's history in which they're not so positive, and then we land on this page that is actually my favorite spread of the book. And it's but even in the darkest moment, the spark of magic shines through like candles in the ofrendas every day of the dead. And I just think this was my favorite thing to illustrate. I love Day of the Dead. I love Halloween, all that, all that stuff. And I just love what it means and it represents. And then we move on to my abuela used to say, there is no harvest without rain, and there is no sadness that can turn to happiness again, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Sometimes magic is hard to find. This is also one of my favorite pages. I love the there is no harvest without rain. It brings a lot of memories for me because growing up, my grandparents, we would have lunch with my grandparents all the time, and they would often be fighting over the fact that my grandma wanted to throw a party and she didn't want it to rain, and my grandpa would be like, but I need it to rain for the crops.
Right.
So I think that's one of like my earliest memories of thinking, life is really about perspective. Because I remember feeling like, well, if it doesn't rain, I'm happy for grandma because she got her perfect day. And if it does rain, I'm happy for grandpa because he got rain for the crops. So no matter what, I was winning. And I thought that was such a powerful thing to learn that I really wanted to be in the book too. And then throughout the book, there's some examples of things that the narrator finds magical. That is kind of like an everyday life, but it's also so special things that we get to create, particularly. And this spread, I wanted to represent jarochas dancing, which are the folklore dancers from Veracruz. This is my favorite dance, which is called La Bruja, the witch. You dance it with a lit candle on your head, and you're just like balancing the entire time. And I think it looks so beautiful and haunting. And when I was a kid, I was just like, I could not believe that as humans we were able to to come up together and put dance moves to music and make it look so fantastic. And I thought it was really magical. Yeah. And then this is the more things happen in the book, and then this is the last page, which is, and you can fill in your fingertips, like when blank pages become pictures. And we see our narrator, and she's all grown up, and she's in her studio making art and turning blank pages into pictures. And I really love that phrase to end the book, because I think it, in some ways, it like brings it all together, and suddenly you realize that the book that you're holding is also a piece of magic, because it's taking so much work and effort and like so many things to go right for it to exist. So I think that's pretty magical. And I also love showing the studio, and I thought that'd be a fun segue into showing some pictures of my studio, which is where I create a lot of my work. And yeah, this is where I am right now, but it's hard to show. But I'm gonna try to show you just a little bit of the wall in the back, where I have a lot of my books and a lot of my art. I have a picture of my grandpa, my parents. Yeah, it's just a really happy place for me to create, basically. And yeah, we can do questions now.
That your space is so lovely. It's like so calm. I need you to come here and help me with my crazy office.
I will.
Now there's gross boxes and things in here, but I love your space. Did you? First question I'm thinking of though, when the picture of the folklorico dancers, did you ever learn how to do the dance with the candle on
That
your
was
head?
my question too.
I did. So everyone, I don't know, their dancing is very important in Veracruz. So we have like artistic class when we're like since elementary, I think, and we all had to dance. I wasn't in that dance. Like we all learned all the dances, but you were only to like perform a few based on I don't know what. But I wasn't in that dance. I wasn't a performer in that dance, but I did learn how to dance it, and it was really funny. That was one of my favorite days. I still remember because we were learning with cups of water, which is harder than a candle. Let me tell you, because like then someone will mess up and like they will like the water will splash on everyone else, so everyone will mess up. There was no one standing.
Whoa!
But it's probably safer than the fire.
Yes. I wonder what are the male counterparts doing? Do they get to have candles on their heads too, or they're just there like?
They'll dance for the most part. Yeah. Traditionally, I think there's probably versions where there's men too, but I've never seen them balance anything.
It's always the ladies.
It is.
Ladies, witchy bands.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing the book. It's so gorgeous. Well, obviously, it won a prize because we thought it was so gorgeous. And the story is just amazing. I'll let Graciela go first with.
Well, I had a question, a comment, like / question. But when you were showing, and you were talking about the Italian influence in Veracruz and how you show people based on what you know. But I also thought it was really excellent because, you know, it kind of goes against that the stereotypical idea that people have about what Latinos look like. And, you know, because we come in all shapes and colors, and your books, your illustrations are always really good at showing that.
Yeah. And it's really very truthful to me. Like, I'm never like just adding someone just to represent, you know, I'm like, this is what people look like.
I love that because people who don't necessarily know, it's like, oh no, yes, a lot of us have the dark hair and the dark eyes and everything, but there's a lot of different there's a lot of different Latinos.
Yeah. I lived in Mexico City when I was little, and in the preschool I remember there was rubias, there was little girls with blonde hair, it was just a mix. There was little Asian girls that were, you know, born in Mexico, so it was so diverse. But people just assume that we all have dark hair and brown eyes.
Yeah, I have like Japanese, so it's like it's really a mix. It's also a melting pot. It's a different,
totally a melting pot, which makes it, you know, even more brilliant because of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. And my last name, when you said the Italians, I'm like, oh yeah, because my last name Olivo is really Italian, but there's a lot of Mexicans named Olivo, Olivas, Olivos. Yeah. So Italian influence.
I think you kind of answered this question, but if you want to, can you talk a little bit about how you came up with the idea for Magic? You kind of touched on it a little bit.
So I think it's actually in the author's note that I tell a story of how my grandpa one time told me, you should write about us, like when I was a kid. And like after I did like my first story for school, and my mom was like, she's good. And my grandpa was like, you should write about us. And I was like, yeah, I think we're pretty funny and pretty interesting. And then, you just kind of think about it for many, many years. And then my agent was approached for an illustration that I did that ended up being very popular on social media. It was like a pineapple field, and people were picking up pineapples. And someone asked him, like, oh, is there a story that goes with it? And he came to me like, is there a story that goes with it? I'm like, well, just my life. I don't To tell you. Yeah, there is. I don't know where to start, but there is. So I really wanted to, just make something that felt like very home.
Right.
And I went to school for animation. So my background in writing is more like in like TV show format and like movie format, which is very character driven, very action driven. And when I wrote magic, it's very different because there is no like main character. The narrator doesn't even have a name. It is really more like a lyrical poem. But I felt like that was the best representation of everything in a way that could be just a little book.
And for those of you who, if you're able to check the book out or buy your own copy, when you take the cover off, which is gorgeous, but this, I just love this so much. Look at this.
Yeah.
The pineapples. Look at that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And then, like Mira talked about, the end pages. Look at these. It's like the quilt. It's like a blanket. So beautiful. And I mean, every page, it's like artwork. I mean, it is artwork. It's just you want it framed in your house, is what I mean. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I can go on and on, but it's just like there's a little treasure in different parts of this whole book.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I really had a great time. There's the secret cover in it originally was the original in papers, but then I had this illustration of the blanket that I had made. Like some of the things I illustrated didn't make it into the book, and I had this illustration. I was like, oh, I really want to use it. It took so long. And I talked to my art director and I was like, could we use them for the end papers? And she was like, yes, let's do that. And yeah, I'm so happy with it. I think it's one of the most special parts of the book. Really, really
So
beautiful.
We could sell, holiday paper, or like when people wrap birthday presents with this and with the, it's like amazing. Watch, someone's taking that idea.
You mentioned that you studied art. Do you see yourself, because you're obviously an artist and you're an author, how do you see yourself more?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think when I think artist, it encompasses the two of them, like the writing and the illustrating. I wouldn't know, because I go through phases where I'm like, I like writing way more than I like illustrating. And then I go through phases where I'm like, I like illustrating way more than I like writing. But I think at the end, I just really like communicating. So whenever it makes more sense, one or the other, it's what I like the most. Like if I feel like an idea I can really come across in a picture more powerfully than I can do in words, then I like illustrating that more. And then if I think that writing is the way to tell a story, then I'm like, oh, that's what I like doing. that
makes sense.
Yeah.
We're going to mention this too, that the Central Library will be turning 100 in 2026. And Mirelle is very special to us because she's going to help do what? Tell us.
I'm working on a very special project for the celebration. We're doing a pop-up book about the library, and it's going to be super cool. Yeah, Matthew Reinhardt's working with me. It's it's going to be very cool. We're very excited.
And I love how that's my question too. I was thinking, when you are asked, when you're commissioned to, somebody's written the book, but then you're commissioned to do the art, do you get to meet the author, or it's mostly email or phone calls, and then you come up with your ideas and see what the author thinks? Is that how do you go about it? Well,
in traditional publishing, they actually discourage authors from reaching out before the book comes out. I've heard that from the authors. No, it's all done mostly through the publisher house. So there's like an art director in every project, and that's the person that you communicate with. Like I communicate with them, and the author communicates with them too. And I think that's just so that there's no confusion of like what we're doing. And I think it makes sense in a way, because otherwise I think people can get really hung up on details. And I think our directors are really good at being like, this is what we're doing, this is what we need. And kind of trying to make everyone happy without us having to have like, I don't know, a million meetings. So they're very appreciated.
Okay. The middle there's a middleman basically. Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely a middleman. And then after the book comes out, then the author, they usually reach out and they're like, oh my God, like it's great working together. So happy we get to meet now.
Yeah, then you become besties.
Yes. With a lot of them, yes. You
Oh,
joke.
that's great.
That's what happens.
How did you feel when you won the Pura Belpré Award for illustration honor for magic?
um,
Do you remember getting the call?
I remember getting the call. I was back home. I was in Mexico. I was so blown away because I had no idea I was on anyone's radar. And I had been so stressed out about the book coming out. And I was like, because it's a big, I don't know if everyone knows this, but authors are, for most of it, are doing a lot of the promotion for their own books.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way. There's so many books that publishers cannot possibly like promote all of them. So a lot of it comes to you. And I was so stressed about that. I was like, I'm so bad at promoting things. and so I was like, oh my God. So I was shocked. I was so shocked. I was so excited. I remember I was so excited that someone was like, it's an honor. And I'm like, I know, but I'm still so excited. Like, I know I didn't win the big prize, but it feels like I can't explain it.
The honor is huge. I do remember when it's huge when we get to call, because the committee is usually around one phone. We're all like talk, and the chair gets to like say, hello, you've won the honor, or and it makes the committee, like usually the authors will start to cry or scream, or there's so many wonderful stories of how when people hear that they've won the award. And yeah, it's just like the excitement. I remember the excitement in your voice. You're like, yeah.
Like I was really shocked, honestly. I was like shocked because I think also because it is such a personal book to me that it was like, it felt almost like it was like a me project and no one else was going to read it. And we'll talk about, like, I'll figure it out later what I can do that is more commercial. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. So to have people respond to it the way they have honestly blows my mind. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Again, this next question, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but how does your background and your other like experiences as a child, both in Veracruz or I guess once you moved here, how does that influence your writing?
Oh, obviously from my upbringing, there's just like so many things that I pull from whenever I'm writing, especially for, doing children's things. You always want to be in a space where you're thinking about what was important to you when you were a kid. And what was like a big lesson to you. And like, I do have so many things in my childhood I really remember very strongly about just like learning something about life or about like how things work that was so empowering. Or also have memories of like reading things and that I couldn't really understand at a point, and then growing older and getting to understand them. Just like sometimes I don't know if this is how everyone is. This is just me. Maybe I'm crazy. But I feel like sometimes I would read things and I would just be like, this is interesting. I don't know what they're talking about, but like, I feel like this is important and I'm just going to save it in my back pocket. And then just being like growing up and experiencing things and being like, oh, this is that feeling that author was talking about that I couldn't understand at the time. Or this is talking about that experience that at that time I had never had and hadn't really understood. This is what this author meant when they said that.
You're not crazy. I think or you read it when you're little, and then later on when it's triggered, you're like, oh my, I get that now. Yeah. Then you reread it and you're like, oh, it has a different meaning too. Yeah. Sometimes as you get older. So you're not crazy.
Not. So yeah, definitely. I like when I did especially magic, I just wanted it to be like something that kids could hold on to for a long time. And I think especially when it came out and I did a lot of like readings on it, I think the parents were the ones getting the message way more than the kids were. And I thought also that was beautiful, the way they could connect to their kids in that way. You don't get it right now, but you will. You will experience sadness, and then you'll find out that you'll be fine at the end of the day, and it'll be great.
It's true. Okay, you've answered some of her other questions, like because they may combine. So let me look and see. What are some things you know now, which it's kind of touching on what you're saying. You know now that you wished you knew when you were first starting out in your fields, because you're both an author and an illustrator.
Honestly, I don't know. I think ignorance can be a powerful tool sometimes. Because you do things that maybe you wouldn't do if you knew they were going to be hard or like just scary. Like even I moved to the US to do a master's degree by myself, and I didn't have any family or friends coming with me. And even that, sometimes when I think back, I'm like, that was crazy. Like maybe if I had known it was going to feel that way, just be like, oh my God, I am here by myself. Like, what am I doing? Like maybe I wouldn't have. Maybe I would have been like, but you know, things work out the way they work out. I am a person that's a lot about like, just like, you know, let's figure it out from where we're at. Let's not think about the things we could have done differently. Let's just do from here.
Where did you go to get your master's? Where did you come to the US?
Oh, okay, you mentioned it's in the book. There's an image in the book here.
Oh, San Francisco.
Yes, I decided to Academy of Art in San Francisco.
Oh, how fun.
San Francisco is such a beautiful city. I was so in love with it. So yeah, it was a dream.
I feel like it's a very different environment than Veracruz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Weather-wise, very different. Veracruz is very hot, very humid. San Francisco is very cold, very windy. I love both, to be honest. If anything, I like being in the cold a little bit more.
Yeah, San Francisco is amazing.
Yeah. So how can you talk a little bit about how you actually started getting into illustrating books? Did school help you get into that field, or did you just start reaching out to publishers, or?
Yeah, so like I said, I went to school. I did a BA in digital art and animation in Mexico. And then I did a master's, an MFA in visual development in Academy of Art University. So those are both careers like geared to like animation pre-production really. And kind of like my interest in college, honestly, was either pre-production or writing. That was what I thought I was better at than actually animating, sadly for me. But so when I started going to like events, like industry events that they would do. They would do one, I think it still happens, in around November, the CTN Expo in Burbank. And they would have panelists just talk about a wide variety of things, like just from illustration to animation to like writing and all that. And I got interested in a panel that was about an animator that was transitioning into becoming a writer for picture books. So he came with his agent and they kind of talk about the process. And I was like, in my head, I've always wanted to do books. And in my head, you needed to do animation before. I don't know why. That's one of those things that you're like, okay. But the agent was like, if someone asked, like, how do I get into the publishing industry? And the agent was like, you just email someone. You just email an agent and you just say, I would like to be represented. And I was like, okay, why am I not doing that?
They make it sound so easy.
No, just email. And I was like, okay, let me grab my little email. I did talk to some people, some friends that I had on Twitter that I knew were illustrators at the time, about like their agencies and what they liked and like what the expectation was, because I really I don't know. I just didn't want to go completely blind into it.
Mhm.
I also read a book about the publishing industry. It's very recommended. They do like every year they do a new one. I don't remember the name right now, but I read that, and then I was like, okay, and I just like got my 12 samples at the time. That's what you needed to send, like 12 finished samples, and like did my little blurb and like, hey, hi, my name is Mirelle, and I just cold email like 10 different agents, and some of them come back to me.
Wow. I didn't know. So 10 different samples and are complete.
It was 12 samples of illustrations that I had done.
Okay.
And then I picked like 10 agencies, and I was going to do more. Like I was going to do 10. And then if no one got back to me, I was going to do more. I was going to keep at it.
Right. Determined.
Well, I had nothing to lose.
Right.
Right. And you got that email already.
And like, I know from a lot of my friends, I've heard that sometimes people are really afraid to email someone and then they'll remember them and be like, oh, and I'm like, no, why? They won't remember you. If they don't like it, they'll just forget about it.
Right.
That's what I think.
It's true.
So how long did it actually take once you were like, okay, I'm doing this, and you emailed? How long did it take for them to actually be like, okay, Mirelle, can you illustrate this book?
So that was actually pretty fast, but it was like, honestly, like a little bit of luck on my end, because as I was getting signed into the agency that I'm still with, I love my agent, by the way, shout out to James. I was like an author like that had just gotten like a book deal, like a 3-book deal, was asked who would she want to illustrate the covers, and she had followed me on Twitter, I think, at the time.
Ooh.
And so she put my name for it. So it was like pretty much at the same time as I was getting started.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, I got the offer to do these covers. We'll start the covers for Love Sugar Magic, the series by Ana Meriano. They're in the library too. You guys have them. You're stuck. I've checked.
Wow. Talk about, that's so amazing and flattering that they were like, hey, I love your work.
I know, and I didn't know. I knew after the books came out, because then when Anna was able to reach out and she was like, hey, I love your work, blah, blah, blah. And we became also real good friends too.
That's awesome.
That was good.
You make it sound so easy then.
I know. Emails together, Graciela.
I don't know. I have to be able to draw more than a stick figure then.
Yeah, I think it's not. I mean, I think it's just a lot of luck, to be honest. That's like the hard part. That it's like, who knew that
But you took that leap, and if you hadn't done it, then nothing would have come of it.
Exactly. Right. Like, I do think taking the leap and believing in yourself, and just kind of also not taking yourself so seriously. Like, you're like, oh, I'll do a couple bad drawings here and there, and then I'll be better next time.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, here's a fun one. What was the last best thing you ate, read, watched, or experienced?
Oh, okay. Can I say a few things?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I had fried plantains yesterday, and they were delicious.
Mm.
I expect so much of a cruise, but there's a lot of Brazilian food places around here, so I get to have them. That was delicious. That was the last thing that I ate that I was like, this was exactly what I wanted at the exact right time. And I read The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He's going to be at the festival. I'm so excited about that too. That's my favorite book that I've read lately. I love that book. Love that book so much. I love
it's so good.
I'm on the whole list. I'm waiting for it. So
I had to buy the book. I had to buy it because I wanted to read it.
I bought it too. I was like, I can't wait. I need to know.
Yeah. It's really good. There's like, oh man. It's so
she's so good too. So
You know, and I got on Libby like right after it came out. I was like, I'm gonna get it, and no, it was already like a month's wait list. I was like, fine, I'll buy it, which I'm excited. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Now I'm really excited for when I finally get my hands on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what was the last best thing you watched?
I watched this show that just finished. Like it was, I think, 10 episodes. So I just finished the 10th episode. It's called The Institute. It's also like a horror show.
Yeah.
It's based on a Stephen King novel.
Oh yes.
I thought it was really good. It's like a lot of like kids with psychic powers. So it's really cool.
It's Stephen King.
Yeah, it's Stephen King. And I'm sure we have the book here.
I'm waiting on it. I am, I think, 12 weeks away.
Sometimes we have to wait.
Yes.
You have to wait.
Even us, the librarians, we're waiting for you hear us.
I'm waiting for the audiobook because I do like listening to audiobooks when I'm drawing and like working.
Yeah, me too. I love, and when you're going on, even driving into work or driving on long trips, and I especially love when it's the author who's reading the book. It's just like a different.
Yeah. Like that's awesome. Yeah. I just listened to Kathy Smith's Just Kids memoir. It's so good. And she reads it. It's really good.
There you go. Recommendation. Very good.
Oh, I have recommendations for days.
So would you consider doing the audio for your books?
Sure. Never say never. I've been like on a few that Mamiachi and Me, that is actually I think what I'm reading. That one has an audio version because it's musical in a way. It's about a mariachi band. That's so beautiful. It's so cool. It's always great when they turn one of the books into an audio format because they also send you like samples of voices.
Oh.
They ask for your opinion. Like, do you think this is a good voice for the book? And I'm like, they all sound fantastic. Like, you decide.
I know our other author friend Jesus Trejo. He for his book he gets to narrate, but he said I had to try out.
You had to try it out.
I bet I had to kind of try out to translate my books. Yeah, so I can see that too. I'm happy that I get to do that though. I got to translate Magic and River of Mariposas to Spanish. And there's obviously some other people involved. It's not just me because there's people that just make sure that it's not too Mexican or that some of the phrases are not bad words in a different type of Spanish.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a process, even if it's so little words.
But that's interesting because I know sometimes I've read books in Spanish and sometimes I'm like, I don't know what that word means. And it's like, I mean, my Spanish is not perfect, but it's like, I think I'm fairly decent, but it makes sense, I guess, because my Spanish is very regional probably. And so they're trying to make sure that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They try to make it like very like everyone, the most amount of people can understand it, and the least amount of people will be offended.
Oh man!
Did they find anything in yours that you were like, how is that offensive?
I think the only one that I remember that was like that we switched was I think the word bicho, because I think there's like a part in the book that's like about insects become plague. And I had said bichitos, and they were like, that's not a good word in some places, so we're gonna go with insectos. And I was like, fine by me.
Interesting.
I know. Now let's go Google it and see what it means.
Yeah. All right. Should we ask some more? Let's see. Or do we want to open? Are there any questions? Any comments? Let's see. Mostly just hi. One just came in. Oh, that's just, what are some of your favorite artists?
Oh, that is such a good question. Oh wow, I am always on the spot when they ask this. You would think that I would think about this. I I think very obviously really, really like the work of Mary Blair, who was an artist for the Disney company and kind of shaped a lot of the visual language of like the very famous Disney Alice in Wonderland and like a lot of the parks, and like her work, I think it's so beautiful. And she was very inspired by Latin America, actually. She got to go on a trip to Walt to Latin America when they were, I think they were doing research for Los Tres Amigos, the
Makes
tripper.
sense.
And she was really interested. She got a lot of her sense of color out of that trip, or like a lot of the work she did move after that was very much. It has like a very Latin flair, like in the colorful sense. So I love her work. I love so many people's work. Like I follow a lot of contemporary like artists, like people that I went to school with them, like insane how talented everyone is. Yeah, it's just so many amazing artists that I love. Honestly, it's crazy because my brain is like, like every single picture that I've seen that I liked is like popping up in my brain right now.
Are you working on anything right now? Are you writing or are you illustrating anything for someone?
Yeah, I'm illustrating a couple really fun projects, including the one for the library that I'm really excited about. I am trying to write a few other things, a little bit things for older kids, so that's very exciting. And yeah, just working a lot of on like a few different books that I'm illustrating that I am really excited for. Like I really like when I get a manuscript and I feel very emotional about it, and then I'm like, oh, I need to do this.
That's awesome.
There's another question. What are some of the artist tools you would recommend to someone who isn't a professional?
Oh, that is a really good question. I think, of course, pen and paper, like just like getting your bases on pen and paper is so helpful. I think it's harder sometimes, but then you'll be just so much better when you need to translate to digital. Like if you can create in traditional work, but I know it's also like expensive. You know, it takes paper and materials, and so I understand. Um, I when I started, there wasn't like iPads like that you could draw in. Like there was a program, wasn't a thing. So what me and most people had to draw was like a tablet that was like this big that you would plug to your computer and you kind of watch on the screen and just use your hand over here. And people now find that to be crazy. but it's actually I think a really good entry point that it's I think affordable if you already have a computer. Just like get a tablet and a drawing program. But I also think a lot of people really like the iPad and Procreate. I think it's cool. It's really good for like, it's really easy to bring around. And also Procreate, it's very intuitive. It's a really good program to like beginners. Like it's really easy to get into it and understand everything that you can do with it.
Before I say we read the next question. Just so all of you know, Mirelle we asked her to also go to some school visits for LUSD. And she went out to one, it was an elementary school. It was K through 8, I believe. But shout out to, it was the Academy, Equinox Academy, I believe. But she showed him how to draw, and it was a cat. I mean, first she just said draw like they just had to draw a football, basically, a football shape. And then she gave him tips on how to draw. And it was just pen and paper. I mean, pencil and, a white piece of crap paper. And these kids, these students, they were amazing. And like they went off on their own doing things. Like one kid, what did you say? They had done the cat, but then they drew an easel and then a cat inside the easel. It was like, yeah.
The cat drawing a cat. Yeah. I love doing that. I love doing school visits and getting to that activity with a lot of people.
There it is.
Aww. cute.
Look at that. So good. And it was just so empowering to these kids. Like they were like, oh, I'm an artist. Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to read the next question, Graciela?
Yeah, so it says, any books you can recommend patrons can also check out to also teach themselves drawing? Do you ever use any books to help you draw?
I did when I was a kid, but I don't remember any of the names. But they're really good books about that. Actually, a cat, it's like I learned when I was a kid from a book. Like I learned that step by step that I do in my. I changed a little bit of it because the one in the book wasn't like a real cat, wasn't like a character, like with clothes and stuff. But like the basic of it, like the football and the ears, that was in the book.
That's awesome. I always think it's Ed Emberley. I think it's the one.
He has a ton of them, yeah. The Emberley books. There's always like, there's all kinds of figures.
I do think like also the best thing that you can do to learn how to draw is draw. Like set up a little thing of your things, like maybe like a couple fruits in your living room and just draw them. Like go and try to capture the shape, try to capture the sizes, capture the light and the dark. That is like the basis of all drawing, really. It's just like observing and trying to capture. And then you can go into like breaking the rules and making your funky style.
Funky style.
Picasso.
Yeah, just kind of like, using your aesthetic or the things that you like. But like looking at people's work and like trying to replicate some things that you see in real life, they're like the really good tips to learn.
So the old classic way. Yeah, I always think of the bowl of fruit.
Yes.
Like a little setup. I had a teacher in my master's program that said that we all have so many bad drawings on us and we need to get them out so that we can get to the good ones.
Keep drawing those stick figures, Graciela.
I was going to say, maybe I need to draw my stick figures more to like finally move on. I got it now. Okay.
Let's move to some of the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Just for fun. Sure. Okay, I'll do the first one. Would you rather be a cook or a baker?
A cook.
Oh.
I like salty. Like I'm like more of like a salty.
Would you rather be a bird or a mountain?
A bird. A bird, yeah.
If you needed to hide an elephant, where would you do it and why?
It's kind of random, right?
I know. You know what just came to my mind?
The first thing that came to my mind was inside a hat, but because of the Little Prince, how he has a drawing of a hat that is actually an elephant inside a hat. That's the first
perfect. We didn't say how big an elephant.
You didn't say, and I did not. And Little Prince, everybody go check it out now. You'll know.
There you go.
For some reason, I just was like pineapple field, like you could hide an elephant in a pineapple field, but I don't know. I just thought. Okay, go ahead, Graciela.
What's more annoying, soft talkers or loud talkers?
Ooh. I guess it depends. Depends on the situation. If you need someone to speak loudly and it's speaking really softly, that's very annoying. Yeah. I'm very annoying when I go to school visits and I'm like, can I get a microphone? And there was like, can you speak louder? And I'm like, no. But yeah, and if you need to be quiet, like in the library, and someone is being very loud, then
very annoying.
Yeah.
Yep.
The context. Depends on the context.
That is very true.
Would you rather be in a Netflix documentary as the subject or as the opponent of the subject?
Huh.
So the adversary of the subject.
Can I be the filmmaker?
Yeah.
Like, I'm behind the scenes.
Yeah, there she goes.
I just want to be asking the questions.
Okay.
Let's see. If you could only have entertainment from one decade, which decade would you choose?
Oh,
so I guess music or art or whatever.
Oh my god. I guess I'm gonna say the 2000s because A lot of really good Disney movies came out in the 2000s, and a lot of really good music came out.
There you go.
Like Florence and the Machine.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Okay, you youngster, you.
I know, she's aging us.
I know. I'm all like 60s, the 70s. Okay. Are you next or is me?
It's
Just
you.
Oh, it's me? Okay.
Yeah.
If you could have, if you could be trapped in any book or movie forever, which book or movie would it be?
Oh my God. That is a really good question. I think maybe the Percy Jackson books, because I think they're having so much fun. And they're so.
We have the books for everybody. Percy Jackson. Look for Ms. Ortega in there.
Okay. Who is one person, famous or not, you would love to sit down with for a long conversation?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think I would like to sit down with my grandma, because she died when I was fairly young, and I would love to hear her takes on some things.
Sometimes even just like the stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this?
Los cuentos, yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. Yeah, I miss my abuela. She had the cures, everything. She knew how to, Yeah.
Tómate un té.
It's true. Everything will be fixed with that.
Just depends on what kind of tea.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Well, we want to thank you so much. This has been so much fun. And we are so excited that we get to see you again in person, for those of you who can come down to Central Library, and you'll get to see, this is the program. You guys get to see this first. The program day of, and there's Mirelle is in here, and one of the lovely talent. She's there. Here she is right here. And it's going to be a day full of fun and excitement. She'll be drawing with two other illustrators and also talking about her book, one of her other books. So I hope you'll come. And it's free, gratis, at Central Library.
Can't beat that.
Gracias.
And there's crafts and everything.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mirelle, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love spending time with you guys.
Likewise. And we want to thank you, everybody, for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this Your Author program. And remember to visit lapo.org/events to see more of our amazing programs. And we hope that we'll see you all next weekend at the Los Angeles Libros Festival on Saturday, September 13th. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. As Diane mentioned, it is free. There's something for all ages, so Mirelle will be there, but there will be also adult geared programming. So it's a whole family affair. We invite you to come down and visit us at the Central Library in downtown. And again, we truly appreciate all your support. The success of all of our library programs could not happen without viewers like you. So thank you.
Gracias. Bye.
Thank you.
Adios.